Welcome back to the Fall Major Expert Division qualifying round, hole number 9, option number 1. This is a Grizzly bounce up shot. You can use anything P1 through P4, side spin 3, wind 4. The shot has not been tested with wind 5, and it has not been tested with wind 3. So you want to keep your winds between 6.0 and 7.7 for the best results here. The adjustment, you can use Grizzly 8 Plus here. The adjustment for this shot is P3 numbers plus 50% max. That's 50 plus 50% elevation. Max numbers using Grizzly 9 in your app. So even if you're playing this shot with a Grizzly 8, you still want to have Grizzly 9 in your app so that you're pulling the same numbers that I am. The spin set is 4 backspin, 3 left spin. And what you're going to want to do is use a side spin 3 ball to set this up. So personally, what I'm doing is starting with a kingmaker. I'm adding my left spin, then I'm adding backspin until I pass up the 4 line, and then I'm going back up to it. And that is to ensure that I always have the same amount of backspin. You see, I pass up the line and then I go back up to it. What I want to show you is, so our starting position is blue ring touching the bunker and blue ring touching the rough at the same time. So if you're setting your starting position from this viewpoint, it looks like the blue ring is touching on the right. It looks like the blue ring is touching on the left. But you're going to see when I spin this around to adjust it, that there's going to be a small gap between the bunker and the blue ring. So it's for that reason that I recommend you set your starting position from the opposite viewpoint, as if you're going to adjust your rings. That's the viewpoint you want when you set your blue ring position. And that is just to ensure that we're touching the bunker and the rough at the same time. You see, when I spin it around and I look at it from this direction, you can see there's a small gap on the left hand side there between the bunker and the blue ring. And so if you set your starting position from this viewpoint, it's very easy to see both, and make sure that you're not leaving any gap between the two. You should be touching the bunker and touching the rough at the same time. You don't want to be in the bunker, you don't want to be in the rough, you don't want to be off the rough or off the bunker. You need to be touching both at the same time. With that being said, that small gap did not affect this shot, but that's not to say that it can't. In certain wind angles and wind strengths, you never know, and that's why we try to, have these setups so that you can be as consistent as possible with your setups, so that you don't run into any, strange problems and wondering what happened. I'm showing you 2 drops here because I want to show you the 2 extreme wind angles that I've seen. And when I say that, I mean this is the furthest right that I've seen. If you notice, my center line is running right on the left edge of these rocks right here. That's the furthest to the right that I have seen. And on the other shot, I'm going to show you the furthest to the left that I have seen. That being said, everything in between and every wind strength, all the way from 6.0 to 7.7, has been dropped uh, everywhere in between these two wind angles. Okay, so it's a very large wind angle section uh, that we don't need to make any additional tweaks to this one. With that, I have also kind of set up some heavier tailwind angles and some heavier crosswind angles on the off chance that you see something outside of this range that I haven't seen. Then I'll give you the recommended tweaks for that just based on all of the practice that I've been doing. But I haven't seen anything outside of this wind range here. So this is the furthest left that I've had. And if you look here, I'm left of the sign. And I'm basically splitting this little light tree in half with my center line. That's the furthest left that I've seen. And if you can barely see it, but the rock is way over here to the right. And so this would be the furthest right that I've seen. I've dropped everything in the middle here, which I'm calling my neutral angle. Everything from 6.0 to 7.7 in between these two lines has been confirmed drop. If you happen to catch something over here to the left of this line, I'm going to call that my tailwind. I haven't seen it, but if you do catch it, my recommended tweaks for that to start off with would be no change for wind 6 to 6.5, wind 6.6 to 7.1. I would add 1 click of underpower, and wind 7.2 to 7.7, I would add 2 clicks of underpower. The reason I'm suggesting that is because it's a heavier tailwind angle, so I would expect to get more wind push out of that shot, and that's why I would start off by adding a little bit of underpower in the tailwind angle. If you get anything over here to the right, kind of deep into the rocks over there to the right, then my suggestion for tweaks would be wind 6.0 to 6.5. I would add 0.1 to the adjustment. 6.6 to 7.1, I would add 0.2. And 7.2 to 7.7, I would add 0.3. That's because it's a more crosswind angle and we should be getting more wind push to the right. So I would expect that you would need a little bit more on your adjustment to keep it coming in center cup. With that being said, I haven't seen those wind angles. Those are just my suggestions. If you happen to catch that, I don't want you to get caught off guard. At least you'll have, something that you can try and hopefully still get the drop. It's very important that you pull this one super straight. If you pull it with too much 59, you're going to burn an edge. And if you pull it with too much 01, you're going to burn the edge. Straight, straight, straight. As straight as possible. Hit perfect. And hopefully you're walking away from this one with the hole in one. No overpower, no curl, no wind angle tweaks unless you get a crazy wind angle that I haven't seen. P3 plus 50% max, Grizzly 9 numbers, 4 backspin, 3 left spin. Always add your left spin. Always pass up the 4 line and then go back up to it so that you have the same amount of backspin that I'm using. And one last thing to note here. If you do happen to catch an odd angle, If you use the tweaks that I've given you or suggested for those angles and it works or it doesn't work, please hit me up and let me know so that I can add those tweaks as needed, seeing how I haven't seen those wind angles. So, really good opportunity here. Very pull angle dependent, so practice this one a couple of times. If you need to, you can make some minor tweaks. But once you get your pull angle sorted, this one should be very consistent. I think I dropped this like 6 or 7 in a row. So the shot is definitely there. It's definitely consistent. If you are burning an edge or just missing, then I would recommend tweaking your pull angle. Once I got my pull angle sorted here, it was dropping nearly every time with a perfect. So good luck. I hope you all get the drop. And we'll catch you on the next one. Good luck.